Hi. So I have video responses now from Sofia and Origin and F Circles. So that was good enough. I noticed that the Amazing Atheist subscribed to us. Maybe he unsubscribed. I don't know. But at one point he did. He should make us a video. I doubt he will. I doubt he even watches the channel. Maybe it was for you, Sophia. Probably. You're the sciencey one. But here I am talking about transhumanism. Anyway, and I feel like it's very interesting that we have completely different views on this. Not completely different, but very relatively different. So I'm just gonna go point by point. Some of the things that were said from every video. Sophia said that we should not change our inner core and change our, whatever, anything in the brain. And I don't see why we shouldn't do that if there's something malfunctioning, especially like within our brain. For people who have some very serious mental disorders, there's a lot of things that are going on in the brain that um, are either the cause the mental disorder, or are caused by the environment, but it doesn't matter. Their brains are still that way, and they can't really be changed unless I'd say their brains are altered, because it's kind of hard once you're in that position, when it's very serious, to just go through therapy or whatever and expect for some change to happen when your actual chemistry and the way you think is what is the problem now. Um, so in those cases, I think we definitely should. I don't know how that would happen. I would love to have more neural connections and whatever, and if it was possible to somehow strengthen that. Also, I think we'd be a lot better off if we actually did have chips, inserted of information, whether it's something mathematical or if it's historical information which we can use to base our decisions off of, make them more logical, and we'd be more aware of, things happened in the past, like how people use certain words and propaganda in order to make things like the Holocaust happen. And in this way, we can actually avoid that because we'd have the reasoning skills. As we insert these chips, we'd have all this knowledge that would help us prevent all of that stuff from happening. If this is what would be possible, I have no problem with changing our brain structure or inserting elements that aren't really natural into our brains. We already, like I said before, through the foods we eat and things like alcohol and drugs that we take, we already change our brains through non-natural means. So it's kind of impossible to avoid already. So in that way, we are already changing our inner core, and this would just make it beneficial change, whereas something like alcohol, like I said already, would kill off the brain cells. So I think cloning humans, I don't see why it's always immoral. Someone else said that, I think, as well. As long as they're not treated as like a lab rat or something, or excessively experimented on, I don't really see the problem of creating life in that way as a clone, or if they're used for organs. I think that's fucked up. I'd rather that not happen, or if it was possible to clone a body without giving it life, and then use that, the organs, if anything goes wrong, use that, if it make it frozen, I don't see a problem with that either. Um, but I don't really see how it's a huge problem if they're allowed to be free and if they're given equal rights. So we're talking about how we can change. It would be good if we change like our stomach, our intestines. Um, I don't know, make us better able to digest foods, or be able to get rid of the toxic foods that we eat. Or why not? I know this is kind of like, hey, we're starting to lose our freedom here, but why not insert or remove the, if it's possible, something that would cause us to desire those horrible foods for us, and instead only eat healthy and not have to change our stomach or intestines. I want to know what people think of that, because I don't really know what to think of that. When this becomes this transhumanism is taking to such an extent that we actually lose our ability to choose. Like I said before, that might just be not even a choice that exists. We might already not be able really to choose. But this might further restrict us. Even if we take the option to do this ourselves, to be like, well, I don't want to desire that food, and I'll take this pill. Somehow, to me, after I take the pill, it does eliminate the choice for overpopulation. This is obviously, I think this is the most major issue with this. We live a lot longer. There'd be a lot more people on the earth. I would think that by the time this actually starts happening, we will have developed other uh, things in science, and that probably includes more visits to the moon, stuff like that, and actually setting up a colony elsewhere, hopefully, eventually. Otherwise, I don't really see how this could happen unless we altered ourselves so that we would actually consume much less than we do now. So we would consume less food products, or make it possible to somehow not run maybe even on food, or just, I think science is really the only way we can ever hope to achieve some greater um, ways of dealing with all our Earth's problems right now, and greener energy and everything. Um, so really, the only thing that we should do is move forward with this. I think, even if overpopulation might seem to be a problem, I think it's already, even if we didn't have transhumanism, um, or progress ourselves scientifically, this is already something that would cause the end of the world if we didn't actually act. How would we be if everyone was perfect and efficient? Um, I don't think we wouldn't really all alter ourselves in the exact same way. I don't think. I think that would be quite strange if that ended up happening. We might have different sorts of transhumans, almost like different species, and I think that's why there wouldn't really be this whole transhumans versus humans or something. There would be mostly just different sorts of transhumans. I don't really know if that would be a bad thing if everyone was somehow efficient and perfect. Um, perfect. Uh, there would be a lot less chaos in the world, and violence, and everything would seem to function relatively normally. It might be a much more, whatever, boring, robotic existence, if some people might call it that, but I don't really think that that's what would end up happening. But that existence, I think, would be better than one just full of this complete chaos that much of the world is in right now, with suicide bombings and, I don't know, guerrilla warfare, terrorism, whatever. I would rather have this systematic society that is calmer than all of this chaos. So.